Hello, welcome back to the Revolution Approved podcast. I am Jen,
And I am Ken.
and we're back after a little 2-week unexpected hiatus.
Yeah, kids get sick and
Kids got sick, and Ken got sick, and
yeah, the weather around here is crazy. My allergies have been going insane the last couple weeks. So,
yeah,
but we are back today, and we're back, and we are going to talk about a continuation of the last podcast we did, episode 11, I believe it was.
yes,
Where we talked about a couple reasons why people quit training programs.
yeah.
And
as promised, we are coming back to expand on number 4.
Number 4, okay? Number 4 was as what we would call your why. That people have not investigated their why enough. We call it core values. What the hell they're even doing in the program in the first place, okay? So this leads to a lot of problems. And before we jump headlong into it, the article that I always cite when talking about this is a fantastic article by our friend John Berardi from Precision Nutrition. It's called The Hidden Cost of Fitness. Okay, The Hidden Cost of Fitness. So what he talks about in that article is if one is aspiring to certain levels of athletic performance or certain levels of how you look, here's what comes along with those levels. Because people throw around innocuous words like shredded and ripped and big and this and that and the other, and they kind of don't really know what goes with that, right? Or they say, I want to, and then insert athletic endeavor here in this space.
I want to excel at.
Bleh, and then they don't really know what comes along with that.
Sure.
Right? Okay. So a famous example from the athletic piece would be Louis Simmons saying that world champions train 8 times a week. Okay, so right there, he's letting you know that every champion that he's ever known in his life has trained a minimum, not a maximum, a minimum of 8 times a week. Is that twice a day, 4 days a week? Whatever number of 8 comes up to 8, it's 8. Okay, notice that it's more days than are in a week. Okay, so if you can't put together that level of commitment, then maybe that goal's too aggressive if you wanted to become a world champion, let's say, or if you just wanted to get in fantastic shape. What about following a diet or a meal plan? What about having to measure stuff maybe? What about maybe having to commit to a really hard training program? People don't investigate these things, that they should. And he did a fantastic job in the article of breaking that down. And I think that's a huge reason people don't investigate the why behind what they're doing.
Okay, so let's talk about, go into a little bit more in depth about, your why, or to piggyback on the last podcast, it was why people quit training, and we talked about the reasoning being that people don't really know why they start an endeavor. So they quit because once they get into it, they realize that maybe that wasn't their finish line. That wasn't what they really were looking for. That was whatever. That's why they quit. So you want to expand on
Sure.
why.
Yeah, I'll give you another easy example. When we talk about these things, like the way we look, your boy, not my boy, your boy, Zac Efron, just this past week, or two, came out with a thing. I can't remember what TV show he was on, but he was talking about how he looked up for Baywatch. And he said that he would never recommend what he did to anyone, ever. The way he had to eat, how much he had to train, all the stuff he had to do, he would never recommend that. And he didn't think it was, quote unquote, healthy. Okay? So here's a nation of people, here's an industry full of people. I'm getting ready to go on a rant.
Say, wait a minute. He's my boy, but somehow you know all
Well,
of
I
this.
hear things.
In depth.
Okay, I hear things. All right. Here's a nationwide industry full of people telling people that is the epitome of maleness. That's the epitome of, look at him, look how great he looks. Look, you want to look like him, work out like him, eat like him. His physique, right? takes bullshit supplements like he takes purportedly, so on and so forth, right? And then here comes the guy out on national television and says, I would never recommend that to anybody. I freaking hated it. It sucked. I'd much rather just work out a couple times a week and have fun and be in good shape and blah, 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 right? Okay? So there goes again, the why. Now, obviously, he was doing it for a movie role. That's a little bit different, but this happens to people all the time. I can't tell you the number of people who I have trained personally who thought it would be a great idea to do a bodybuilding show, do whatever, and then they get halfway through it and realize, holy crap, this is way more than I bargained for. It's
Yeah.
requiring way more energy, and I don't want anything to do with it anymore. No mas, right? I'm done. I think that means I'm done in Spanish, or I quit, something like that. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish, but I mean, do you have no? There you go. Thank you. But do you have, I think, anything off the top of your head? I mean, you're the feminine perspective of this duo.
Thank you.
So there's way more, even though might argue there's there might be more pressure on guys, because guys have their own pressure to look certain ways, okay? The female pressure,
There's absolute female pressure.
Okay.
It's 100% female pressure.
so do you,
If you're a female, you have to look a certain way. You have to have a super tiny waist, and nowadays the bubble butt is the big thing. But 10 years ago it was just the super tiny waist, or I don't even know. But you can't be a mother and have any kind of shape whatsoever, because then it's, oh, she just let herself go.
okay, so there's pressure,
Well, I mean, it's
there's pressure on
absolute pressure.
There's pressure on females, there's pressure on dudes. And this is where this comes into play tremendously, because before you start a program, you gotta say, okay, what do I want? I want to be this way. Why? Well,
Well, that needs
because
to be the first question
Yes.
when you start any, not just exercise program, but any goal,
Yeah.
period. You need to look at why.
Yeah, so what we use here is a thing called the Toyota test. It's 5 whys. You why somebody 5 times. So, hey, I want to get in great shape. Why?
Why?
Well, because I feel more confident when I think I'll feel more confident, the better I look.
Why?
Right? And then so on and so on and so on. And by the
Oh,
time
I
you
thought
get
you
to
were going
no,
through
no,
all
no,
5.
we're not gonna go through. By the time you get to the bottom of it, by the 5th why, you should probably really truly have the reason why someone is about to engage in the endeavor they are.
Yeah.
Okay? And sometimes those reasons are real strong, and sometimes those reasons are real weak.
Yeah, you have to remember that a lot of people mask everything, but that's a different topic. But they mask their true feelings on certain things. Why do you want to look good? Well, because whatever. Well, if you keep asking the why and you keep diving deeper and deeper and deeper, you will eventually find out, whatever their reasoning is. But if you don't ask the question, you're not going to get the answer.
Yeah, and the thing is the stronger.
And maybe you don't need somebody else to ask you the questions. Maybe you need to ask yourself the questions.
This is true. This is absolutely. And I think the stronger your connection, or what we have seen, the stronger your connection to the stated goal, emotional connection to the stated goal,
Yes.
the farther that will take you. So like girls who come in here and say, well, I want to get ready for the beach. That's kind of a super, I'm not trying to dog on people's goals, because anybody can do what the hell they want, okay?
It's very superficial.
But it's a superficial goal. It's kind of surface level. There's not a lot to it. So when it comes to training at odd hours, having to do stuff that you don't want to do, like I tell every client, our relationship works really, really great until I make you do something you don't want to do. Then we find out where you're at, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Versus if you were a female, just to use a female as an example, and you came in and said, hey, listen, I want to be in great shape because I need to have lots of energy because I have kids to take care of. I got an elderly parent to take care of. I live alone. I need to be able to do A, B, C, D, right? Okay? That carries a lot more weight than I want to look good with, in a bathing suit
Sure.
for a sliver moment of time.
Well, because I would ask the question, and people don't like when I start asking questions because I make people uncomfortable. But I would ask the question first and foremost.
Hey, I gotta live with her. All right?
Lucky.
Yeah.
So if somebody came to me and said, well, I want to look really good on the beach, my first question would be, I would go down the why ladder. And if they still didn't come out with something that was, stronger than just, I want to look good for the sake of looking good, my next question would be, what if you show up at the beach and there's nobody else there? Do you still care?
Great, that's a great question.
What happens if you show up at the pool, the
gonna
hotel
steal that.
pool, and you're the only one there? There's not even the pool boy
Yeah,
already
so-
went home for the day.
So it's kind of if the tree falls in the woods, but there's no one there to hear it, doesn't make a sound, kind of thing, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I'm gonna steal that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. So, do we get it now? Now are we talking about like their pure vanity purposes, right? So like they're not gonna.
Well, that's the next question, right? Do you care because it's for yourself? Well, if you're out on a beach, there's no mirrors. You can't see yourself anyways, right? What do you care?
It's true.
Well, I just want to be comfortable in my own skin. Okay, well, the first question is, why do you think this goal is going to make you feel more comfortable? Why aren't you comfortable now? Why aren't you comfortable with who you are as a person now?
Okay.
Right?
So,
Why does your skin suit define yourself? And I think
Sure.
we talked about that before about,
Well, we see this all the time. I mean,
defining, and
anytime you
I
run
could get
in-
into it, but you're right.
yeah. Anytime you run into anybody, they're not gonna tell you what they're not gonna introduce you themselves as, "Hi, I'm Ken. I'm a human." They're gonna say, "Hi, I'm an engineer. I'm a teacher. I do this." They're
Right.
wrapping themselves up in
Right.
what they do.
What defines you,
So
right.
it's no
And
diff-
we talked about
yeah,
that
so
in
it's
a
no,
whole-
so it's no different
in the
here.
past.
It's no different here. Whether it be constantly, we know you run because you never without a shirt on that says you ran in something. Okay, great. Or the constant social media posting of
Yeah.
everything, look what I did, look what I did, look what I did, look what I did, look what I did.
Well,
If
and
nobody
that's-
was there to hear it or read it.
And that's kind of, I think that's kind of
Yeah.
the overarching question is, if you're not getting glad-handed, in real life, you go to social media because it makes you feel good that people give you hearts and thumbs ups and likes, and it makes you feel good. Well, why do you feel like that's filling a void? What void do you have that needs to be filled by,
Yeah.
hearts and
'Cause,
thumbs ups and
well,
bubbles and
Because the hard part with the hard part with that is then, like I always ask people, you're asking from one end of the spectrum, I'm gonna ask from another, and I get into this all the time, it's especially with clientele that comes in here who are on the death by exercise wavelength, the 24-hour-a-day fitness, I do sit-ups during the commercials, I run around the blah, blah, blah. I mean, activity level that would kill a horse, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what would happen if you were physically incapacitated and you couldn't work out? You couldn't go to the spin class. You couldn't go out for the run.
Yeah.
You couldn't go to the gym. So what's the answer? I just make everyone around me miserable until I get a chance to go back out and freaking
Yeah.
run? No. This is where we have to investigate these things where it's a piece. The gym, the diet, the whatever, it's a piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole puzzle. The whole puzzle has lots of pieces to it.
Yeah. Well, again, we talked about that. You're in the gym for 45 minutes to an hour a day. What are you doing with the other 23 hours? And we're in Michigan. We're close to Detroit. And if anybody remembers, a good, 10, 15 years ago, the blackout, right? It hit the East Coast up until probably Lansing-ish. And there was no power, there was no internet, there was no anything. What happens now if you can't post on Instagram?
Yeah, what happens if
What
you-
happens if you can't get
Yeah.
those likes on Facebook or
No.
on YouTube or whatever?
Yeah.
Then what? Then where are you?
Yeah, no one's gonna know what you had for lunch.
No one's
It's
gonna
great.
know that
Yeah.
you,
It's great.
you know,
Yeah.
you look sweet on the
It's-
beach.
You look sweet on the beach, right? Yeah. So That over all of the four, because I think in the last podcast, we talked about obviously injury. Well, first of all, we talked about dumbass personal trainers.
We talked about
Being
reasons
un-
why people
yeah.
quit training programs.
Yeah, being unprofessional, trainers being unprofessional, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I think we talked about getting injured. Okay, and then number three, I think was too much or not enough.
Yes.
Okay, so this number four should actually probably be number one. Excuse
I
me.
still disagree, but that's fine.
I think this number four should be number one because you got to investigate before you get into things. Okay, what am I actually going to do? What's like when we talk about training, we don't program people in here for 1 week, for a month, for 6 months. Okay, we're programming them for where are they going to be in a year? Where are they going to be in 2 years? Where are they going to be in 4 years from now? And then we take our damn time to get there. That's why no one in here is freaking hurt. That's why we don't have any of that shit going on, because we take our time. We set appropriate goals, and then we work towards them, break them, and set new ones, right?
And I also stand by my feeling that, number 4 is an appropriate place for this topic because, maybe you get into a training program and throughout the course of your year with us or wherever, maybe throughout your own personal internal journey and meditation and journaling and the coaching and maybe you find yourself in a different spot, so maybe mentally now your reason is different. Maybe a year later I thought I really just wanted to look really good on the beach, but now here I am a year later and realize that doesn't mean crap for crap.
Sure.
Yeah,
you've grown.
And now my reason is, well, I just want to be healthy, or I want to live to the longest life that I can for my kids, or I want to be able to take care of my elderly parents and pick them up if they fall and not have to call an ambulance or a fire department to come and get them off the kitchen floor. I can do it.
Sure, maybe
those are completely different reasons.
And maybe the more in line you are personally with what you're trying to do from all angles, the easier it's going to be too. Because we get tons of people who come in here and they're like, no matter what I do, I can't lose weight.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, I can't do X, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, is it just due to the fact that, exercise, because the industry has programmed you to think it only revolves around workout. There's some secret squat. There's some secret, if you turn your wrist just this way, and then, or this way, that's will unlock this. Phooey, right? It's bullshit, okay? What it is the fact that maybe the person just has not taken the time to sit down, get all their ducks in a row, and move forward properly. So there's always a stumbling block, like they say. Every diet starts on Monday.
Yeah.
And then by lunch on Monday it's over. Okay, so it's why? Well, because again, you put the carriage before the horse. You didn't think this thing out properly.
Yeah.
And then now.
Going back to
Here we go.
The trigger word of core values is, again, if your core values, and I think you used the example before, if your core values are for animal rights and you choose not to eat meat because it's better for the animals and it's better for the environment, you stick to that, and then you go over to, your work barbecue and all they have are, meat all over the grill, you're not going to waver on your core values because that really means something to you. That's really, really strong.
Yeah.
That you would rather sit there and maybe not eat anything.
Yeah.
Or make yourself a tiny little salad out of the lettuce and the tomato and the onion for the burgers, which you can do, by the way.
Yeah.
And you can stick to that, and you're gonna stick to that goal because that is your core values, your real, true feelings on something. So if it has to do with, well, I'm really, really passionate about training and working out, but everything I do, I can't lose weight. Okay, well, what's your diet look like? Oh, I eat perfect. Well, are you being honest with yourself? Do your core values follow how you're living?
Or is it a situation of you exercise so much because you got the twisted notion that you can eat whatever you want because you exercise so much, or you use the movement argument to kind of subvert your shitting eating habits. Run, again, it sounds like I pick on
Well, and
runners all
again,
the time,
that's
but
the honesty thing, though.
That- yeah.
Are you being honest with yourself?
Yeah.
If I asked you to write a food log, would you even be honest in the food log? Would you be able to tell me that you had, 4 bites of your kid's pancakes at breakfast time because he didn't eat them and left them on the plate? And who cares? I'm gonna go to the gym later anyways. It was
Sure.
only 4 bites.
sure.
Well, Mr. Olympia isn't eating 4 bites of pancakes with syrup on it because his values and his true goal, and I don't know about core values in this particular example.
Yeah, what he's working
but
towards.
his particular goal says he can't eat that. So he doesn't care if his kid leaves it on the plate or not, regardless if he's going to the gym and going for a run and then going back to the gym.
Sure. That's like we are, one of my favorite sayings here, we don't ever stray from the way. So you have to develop a way. What is your way? And then, provided it's the right way, you won't stray from it, okay? We have, going off of the gym policy, we have a policy here at the facility. It's a 30-day cancel. That's our way. You wanna freaking be stupid and not do that and whatever, we have a way. You can have your way, but it's in opposition to our way, and we let you know that. Yeah, you're gonna get charged, dude. That's the way this works. It's serious here. Okay? So, with that being said, developing that takes time. Because obviously at 20 years old, you're different now at 30, what are you, 32? Something like that? Oh no, you look younger every day. In your early teens and 20s, you're different now than you were then. So things can change, right? What you were into then, you're not into now, like you talked about earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it has to grow. And I think that as you get into, because we see it all the time. People go into a program, they'll come here, okay, we'll be doing our thing, and then they'll start feeling themselves, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. And then they'll go to take it up a notch, which this usually involves group stuff of some sort or whatever at somewhere else. Well, I went and signed up for cardio drumming and this and then the other thing and blah, 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 blah. And then they take it up a notch, but when they take their movement up a notch, they haven't taken their recovery practices up a notch. So what invariably happens is this again. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about investigating the core values. If you're gonna increase exercise, you gotta increase rest. If you're gonna increase exercise, you gotta increase food. If you're gonna, these things have to balance out.
Yeah, there is a yin and a yang to it.
And
you can't just train all the time, and go for a run, and then I'm gonna go swimming, and then I'm gonna go hiking, and then I'm gonna go ride my bike, and I'm still gonna eat the same piddly salad with, no dressing on it because, well, it worked really great for me
10 years ago.
before.
Yeah.
It's gonna be triple good now.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't work like that, and unfortunately, there is a little bit of a science to it that, as your activity level goes up, your water has to go up, your food has to go up, because it has to sustain the activity. Your body has to have that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the nutrition piece is easy to hit on, because Downriver is the home of eat like you're in a prison camp. I don't understand it. These women are signing up for these programs where they're eating like what would be medically controlled in a hospital. I don't understand it. I think it's ridiculous, but whatever. That's another podcast altogether. I promised I wasn't gonna overtly rip on anyone today, even though I have a little bit. But we're not gonna go there. Again, the balance point, looking at it, being an adult, understanding opposites, self-care. This way, you're still training the same way you were all the time. How is it that I'm not that smart, okay? I'm not, all right? How is it that I have managed to train from 15 years old to now, I'll be 38 this year, with no breaks, uninterrupted, I've never been hurt once, I've never done any of that. How is that possible? I'm gonna go to a 20-year reunion this year and they're gonna go, man, you still, like my family, you still doing that working out thing? Like it's a thing, oh, you're into skateboarding? Like, it's not a thing. I've been doing it for 25 years, right? Uninterrupted. Still trying to make progress. Still getting into things, taking forays into different things. Okay, I'm into bodybuilding. Okay, we're into powerlifting. Okay, we're into running. Okay, we're doing whatever. Healthy. Get balanced. Understanding. Sitting back and constantly refining and looking and going, well, what am I going to do today? Well, why do I want to do that? I think I'll do this. That's it. But, you know, and when you take the thinking out of it, I mean, you're kind of leaving it up to, you know, the wind, I guess. I don't know.
The winds of change.
The winds of change, yes. So invariably
know
that
what
would
he's
be,
talking about either. Don't worry about it.
invariably that would be the last, that was number 4, investigating your why. Is it okay to change? Yes. Is it okay to not be into things anymore? Yeah.
You know, I would
Is it
hope
o-
so. I would
is
hope
it o-
that as, 38, you're not into the same crap that you were into when you were 18. I would hope so. I would hope that you have grown as a person. I would hope that you have, mentally and spiritually and emotionally grown. I would hope so.
I would too.
And, maybe before you begin that new exercise program or you join the new gym with the, kitschy slogans and they got the specialty red lights on the ceiling, or you got the, whatever you got.
Red lights on the ceiling.
Maybe sit back and just think, why do I want to do this? And maybe you need to, again, going back to the journaling or the meditating, and give yourself the why ladder.
Yes.
Okay, why do I want to do this? Okay, well, I want to look good. Okay, well, why do I want to look good? Okay, well, I'm 37 years old now, not 32. Thank you, though. Why do I,
My mistake.
I want to look good. Well, why do I care about, who am I looking good for?
Good question.
Okay, then the next question, maybe you go, okay, well, maybe it's like, my self-esteem. Okay, well, why is your self-esteem based off of your looks? Why is it not based off of your accomplishments? Why is it not based off of your,
You're a nice person.
yeah, you're,
Because I got to tell you, I got to be honest, and again, you hear me use the word the industry. I mean, my God, you got a lot of people out here with $1 million bodies, but I wouldn't want to be in a room with them for longer than 15 seconds. It's they're that brutal, okay? So again, I interrupted you as you were talking, sorry, but, but that's the case. Why are we wrapping ourselves up into these physical things? And if it's a physical thing, that's okay. But you got to go into it, and you got to surround yourself, and you got to go to a gym. And if you're talking with a trainer, and the trainer it's my way or the highway on stuff that isn't foundational,
well,
then
again, that all goes back to your core values, though, right? Like if you go in and not to play on the vegan or vegetarian thing again, but it's just kind of an easy example in this instance. If you go into a gym and you tell your trainer who's about to write you a diet, right? And
Wait a minute, hold on, time
let
out.
me finish. And you tell them, I'm vegan because I care about the animal rights, right? Or it's better for the environment, or
Any reason.
or whatever you choose.
Makes me feel
right?
happy. Yeah, any reason.
You tell them that, and they go, no, you know what? Eggs are fine. Butter's fine. Are you going to go, oh, okay, well, I guess so? Or are you going to know in yourself, in your core values, no, I'm not eating that. No, I'm not going to eat 3 eggs for breakfast because it goes against my core values.
Yes, and that to what I was going to interrupt you with so eloquently right there was the fact that when you said diet, I was confused for a split second, because did you mean someone in our area actually writing them out a meal plan, or just handing them a bunch of innocuous numbers on a piece of paper? It's an inside joke. That's a little inside, okay? The thing with that is, because I just had this experience with someone, okay? the person is eating a certain way. Other people are concerned. You talk to people, you get the sides of the story, right? Okay, what's going on? We're writing stuff down, we're talking, we're having an intelligent conversation. The person exhibits no signs of illness and disease. They're coherent. They can move without pain. They're not an asshole, so on and so forth. They got no medical issues. Okay? So, in Ken's judgment, you can't say anything to that person because everybody likes to pick on. Again, you use the vegan. We could say anything. You say paleo. You could say any of these isms you could use. Okay? You can't say anything to the person till a problem presents itself. Because I've dealt with as many of these people as you can possibly imagine. I've trained a tremendous amount of people who are vegan or vegetarian. And again, there's no problem until there's a problem. So veganism works great, but then when you come in here and your blood pressure's through the roof, or you get a wacky cholesterol reading, or you get body fat accumulation, we gotta have a conversation now. That's how adults work. That's how proper communication works. It's that simple. So yeah, if someone's coming to you and saying, well, no, you can't do that and it's not that way, then there you go. That's an easy example. And because if you follow them, you're going against yourself, and the sands of the hourglass have tipped over, and it's only a matter of time before they do another thing, and you're like, I quit. And how many people do you see and do we hear from on a weekly basis who have had fitness experiences that could have been fantastic, ruined by this nonsense?
Well, and to go full circle, I mean, that goes back to the last video of number 1 of why people quit programs, the trainer, that's number 1. But again, you know, if you are in tune with your personal reasons of why, your personal why, then you shouldn't be fazed by what, you know, somebody's gonna come and tell you to do, you know?
And that person should be understanding of the fact that you're coming to them with that.
Well, they should be respectful to your wishes.
True.
You know?
Yeah. And again, as long as they're telling you something, I think you summarized it perfectly just a few minutes ago with what you said. And we see a ton of that. We see a ton of it every day. Well, my job is primarily 85% myth busting. Well, so-and-so said.
Yeah.
And then it's
That's
like,
unfortunate
it's not that easy.
I read on the internet, I saw in the magazine, they said on a specific doctor's talk show on
I've even had it
TV.
happen to me. When I trained at Big Box, you know, the absolutely mortifying moments that I was inside of a Big Box gym training people, I had it happen to me, you know, because what people don't understand is I told one person one thing because it was for them. They overheard me out of their ear tell a person something, and then they heard me tell another person another thing, and then they said, well, this is double talk, what the hell, what blah, blah, blah. But
and we've talked about this particular thing to nauseum, is everybody is different. Every plan, and that includes your diet, that includes your nutrition, that includes training and how much weight and how much everything you're doing should be individualized to you. It is not going to be the same as the girl next to you on the elliptical or as the guy next to you in the step class. It all should be different. You should be more concerned when your girlfriend calls you and says, the trainer that we both go to gave me a diet and mine says eat 3 eggs and yours says eat a cup of oatmeal. You should be more concerned if they both are cookie cutter and look exactly the same.
Yes. Because how could that be?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, I mean, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I got everything out that I wanted to today.
So the moral of the story is, don't quit your training plan. Get in tune with why you want to do it in the first place. Get in tune with all of your whys, your own personal, individual whys. And make sure that if you're working with a trainer or a coach or a whatever,
Trusted friend.
a guru of some sort, that they understand your your whys. And if they don't, or they don't care, or
They're not putting.
minimize them,
Yes.
or they tell you you're dumb, or that's stupid, or
Yeah.
I read somewhere that that's wrong, then, you know, maybe you need to bow out gracefully. Okay, thank you for
They're-
your time.
They're not.
Respectfully
yeah.
decline their phone calls or their whatever, and turn around and run.
They're not putting their whys on you.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
your core values are yours.
Yeah.
Just like everything else. Your diet is yours. Your training plan is yours. Everything is individual to you. And as long as you know and are, you know, comfortable and confident in your why,
You're good to go.
you shouldn't have any problem. You should do your thing.
Yep. Keep doing your thing. Take your time. And if anyone has any, oh, go ahead. You
I was
were
gonna say, and if you need help figuring out how to reach your why, let us know.
It's like you know what I'm going to say before I say it. Wow. Tremendous. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like our videos. Please subscribe to our channel if you feel inclined. And we will be back next week with some more,
God willing, we will be back next week.
some more fun shenanigans.
And if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, let us know. If
Yeah.
there's anything you don't like, let us know.
Yeah, if anybody out there wants to hear us talk about a particular topic, we shy away from nothing. So the more controversial, the better. Ask a question in the comments, and we might give you a shout out, and we might answer your questions. So have a great rest of your week, guys.
That's it. I'm Jen.
I'm Ken.
Bye.